Inslaget presenteras av Craft, officiell souvenirleverantör till HV71.
HV-TV presenteras av Invid, Intersport och Nybergs bil.
We say welcome back to Jönköping and Husqvarna Garden, Erik Christensen. Erik, tell us, how is it to be back here?
It's obviously it's been a long time, but it makes me very really happy to be back. It's interesting to walk around and drive around a little bit and try to remember where I am still, and if I can remember all the roads. But I never really thought I'd come back. My wife has always, when I retired, my wife always wanted to bring the kids back here at some point in the future to show, you know, my son was born here and my daughter was 5 months old when we first came here. But I always thought that's probably never going to happen, you know, like it would have to be a part of some other vacation or something like that. But so obviously we're very appreciative of the team inviting us back, and so we took the opportunity to do this now, and it's great. Yeah, happy to be back, thrilled to be back.
Is it like you remember it?
Yeah, little changes, like just walking around the dressing room. There's little changes here and there. There's always small things that change, but of course there's lots of people. A few people that are still here, like yourself and you know, Lindbom and Davidson, and a few players, Oscar, but a lot of other people are gone now, and that part is a bit strange. And but you know, that's life goes on, right? But for the most part, yeah, it brings back a lot of memories, and like I told you, the building was bigger, more grand than I remembered it.
But you were here for almost 5 years, and
almost 4.
Almost 4 years,
mm-hmm.
And you were really successful and finished your time here with a gold medal.
Yeah.
What's your best memories from your time here, Erik?
Well, my best memory is Seaman's goal. I mean, that's the best memory, because like I told you, I often have thoughts of what if we had lost that game, and what would how would I feel about my career if we had lost that game. And so Seaman's goal is probably the best memory I have. An individual memory, I mean, a lot of, like yourself, we talk about game 2 against Linköping in the 14-15 playoffs in the first round. Scoring that sort of coast-to-coast goal, and then scoring that wrist shot from the top corner, I think with just over a minute left to win the game. That was probably one of my best memories or best games that I played. Yeah,
you had some really highlights goal during your time here, Erik. You had rare that you put the puck in the
top right corner.
Yeah.
Well, I practice that shot a lot, you know.
That's your signature.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sort of like the stuff I do now with players. It's shooting is a skill that I think that doesn't get taught a lot in minor hockey and youth hockey, and so everything is revolved around skating or stick handling, but shooting is not something that's really talked about a lot, and there's no environment to do that in. So the best way to shoot pucks is to shoot off the ice. So I did a lot of shooting off the ice, and so yeah, you get pretty good at picking that top corner. So that's what I always went to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're into it. Tell us a little bit about your life right now back in Canada.
Yeah. So I know that even when I was playing here, I think we did an interview, and I talked a little bit about my father has run a business in just south of Edmonton for the last 20 years, and the business is basically skill development, but it's done more in a old Russian, European way of doing off the ice. So if you think of the skills room in Schnarps Arena, or Husqvarna Garden, I guess now. It's all off the ice. It's not done with your skates on. Everything is done off the ice, and because, so like my son, he only practices, he might practice twice a week, 2 times on the ice. Well, it's going to be pretty hard to get really good if you're only practicing twice a week. If you want to be good at something, you got to practice every day, kind of like if you were playing the piano or playing an instrument or whatever it is. So basically that's the business. And so when I retired, we built a house, and after we kind of got the house built, I just started doing it on my own, and COVID, I started January of 2020, and COVID kind of put a stop to my business, and I didn't end up starting with players. I started with players for 2 months and then had to stop because of COVID, but it was actually a good thing. I got to learn a lot and do a lot of what we call drill building, creating drills, and I had a whole year of that, so that when I was ready to open up again, I was ready to go, and felt a lot more confident. Even though I've been playing hockey my whole life, running a business is much different than playing hockey. So there has to be that side too of knowing what you're doing, but also knowing how to run a business, which has been challenging, and so it keeps me busy. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Great to hear. And your son is playing hockey as well.
Yeah.
So you're transferring your skills to him.
If he listens to me. Sometimes he doesn't want to listen to me, but yeah, it's fun to watch him love the game like I do, and of course my job is to, like my father did for me, as long as he shows a passion for wanting to get better, I'm going to provide him with all the tools I know, whether it's taking him to power skating lessons or whatever. You know, we've got the garage, and then we've got a gym. We go to gym in the garage, so yeah, anything he wants to do to try to get better. He's 9 years old, so you know, he's still 9. He's just a little boy still, but yeah, I coach his team, or I'm not a head coach, but I'm an assistant coach the last 2 years for his team, and it's fun getting on the ice and seeing, trying to help other kids become better.
For the years you were here, you became a favorite for the fans in HV71, Erik, and many of the HV fans took you to their hearts. Now we're having a tribute night for you. How's that going to be?
Well, I think that it certainly goes both ways, and I think you know, I've never told you this story, is like, because I was thinking about it on my way here, or I've been thinking over the last few months since when you invited me back. I think there was a period of time when I first got here, I think it was, you know, Frederick Stillman was the guy who brought me here, and I remember, because he was the general manager at the time, and I was struggling back when I was playing in Prague, and when I got here, basically the team in Russia, they wanted to get rid of me. I said, okay. So I broke my contract, and so now I was like a free agent. So when I first got here, my first 8 games, I think I had like 2 assists. And I felt like I was playing really well. I was, you know, I was having breakaways, I was scoring chances, but I couldn't score. So I was like, you know, here we go again. And I think we were playing Färjestad that night at home, and Frederick Stillman pulled me into an office and said that we would like to offer you a contract extension. And I said, huh? Like, I've got 2 assists in 8 games, Freddie, like, why? And he said, well, we just love the way you play. And I think that at that moment, coming from the Russian league, which is very, you know, if you're an import player, you have to score. They don't care about anything else. If you're not scoring, they don't look at the other good things you may be doing. So after that, I felt like the world came off my shoulders, and I think I at that time I was like, I think I'm going to like it here. And because I felt like I was doing some good things, even though I wasn't putting up all these points yet. And it made me feel very comfortable, felt more like home than, because even in North America, or the players that I like Datsuk, Kopitar, they don't just score points, they win face-offs, they forecheck back, you know, they do all these other good things that are required to be a good hockey player. And it was just that meeting, or that moment, that's where I felt like I could just relax. And
then you score some goals.
And, and that night, I think I scored my first goal on a backhand. And from there, I think I just took off.
The Game 7 here in 2017 was your last game in your hockey career.
Mm-hmm.
Have you decided that before the game, that's going to be the last game?
Yeah.
But
well,
you were not so old.
Yeah. Well, the truth is that I didn't. I was hoping I could come back to HV. It just didn't look like that was going to happen. There was no communication with HV, with contracts and that sort of thing. So, but I was respectful. I didn't want to bug them about it or ask, so I just left it alone. And so going into the final game, on the other side, I knew I didn't want to go anywhere else. I could have gone to. I remember when I was, it was a couple years before my last contract, I had a chance to sign in, I think, Brynäs, and then there was a Frölunda was involved, and Modo at one point, I think. And but you know, obviously, my first choice was to stay here, so I did. But then, yeah, and I thought about, do I want to go somewhere else? I was like, I don't want to move again. I don't. My kids were young. My son was, you know, 2.5 years old. My daughter was 4. You know, how much more can I accomplish? You know, all I'm doing is just now playing for a paycheck. You know, I'm gonna. If we win tonight, you know, what else can I do? I can't go back to the NHL. I can't go try to win a Stanley Cup. There's just nothing more I feel like I can accomplish. So yeah, before the game, I was. Yeah, it's going to be my last game, no matter what. I didn't want to go anywhere else, you know. And even if we lost, what would I do? I don't want to go to another country. I don't want to go to Germany. I don't want to go to Switzerland. I'm not going back to Russia. That's for sure. So, of course, yeah, thankful that we won. That was a great way to end it, because, yeah, and even my wife, she asked me this the other day. She's like, "Did you know that was going to be your last game?" And I was like, "Yeah." She can't believe it, because I never told her that. So, yeah.
Now you have a whole another life in Canada. But do you follow HV in some way?
All the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you watch the games?
I follow the SHL, you know, to some extent. Yeah. I don't watch the games. I don't have time to watch the games. I don't have time to sit and watch. I don't have time to watch NHL games at home when they're on my TV. I don't. Sometimes I watch, but yeah, I followed the team. You know, I know after we won, there was a year and Allsvenskan, and then back up, and yeah, coaching changes and player movement, and I check all the time to see if players are where they are now, and yeah.
And a couple of players are still here.
Yeah.
How was it to meet some of the guys?
Yeah. It's a bit strange. I'm sure it's a bit strange for them too, because it's been 7 years. You know, you lose that. I look at it like this. It's like you know, I'm a Canadian and they're, you know, Swedish guys, but there's always a sense that we'll always have a connection. There will always be brothers in some way because of our championship win, and it will be great to see them. It was great to see them. Hi, hello, nice to see you again. Hugs, you know, and. But, you know...
Tedemir didn't recognize you.
Well, I'm 40 years old now. I'm sure I look a lot. I'm sure I look a lot older to people from when they last saw me. I still kept my beard from the championship season. So, yeah, it's great to see people again. It's there's not many, like you said, there's not many here left. But like I say, a lot of people after we won, you know, you move on. The guys retired. or they go to other teams, and you know, that's just the life of a professional hockey player, a professional athlete, or at least in hockey. You know, you find a lot of guys move around, and it's our job, but sometimes we go to get paid more, and that's the reality of playing hockey. But yeah, it was great to see everyone. We're obviously very excited for tomorrow. We'll see. Well, I'm sure we'll see a few more people.
We're looking forward for the tribute night here, and the fans gonna meet you again, Erik. I just have one more question. Do you know what question it is?
Yeah, go ahead and ask it.
What time is it, Erik?
This is the time of our lives.